Custom hot rod upholstery made easy. All right, so here's where I left you on the Impala seats. We've got the foam in, we've got it roughly cut, and we started making a cover for the frame of the seat. Call it that. We made it out of cardboard. Without this cover, that's what you've got right there. You've got all of this stuff right here exposed. So I've been working on trimming this cover. I really don't want this cover to touch the carpet, and there's also a mechanism up front on the slider that I put in on this seat. And I've already had to modify it just a little bit to where it comes out the front because it wasn't made for that. Now, let's take this stuff apart and we'll look at the seat a little bit, and then we're gonna go ahead and take this off and then mark where we wanna trim it and then cut it out of some steel. And that's what we're gonna end up covering with the upholstery. We've still got this back to go. We'll make that shortly. Now these seats I made, but if you don't want to make them, if it's a little over your head, my buddy David Bowen Foam and Fabric in Houston, Texas, where I get most of my seat frames from before I make them for certain projects. Like for instance, he's backed up, didn't have what I needed. These were something that I could whip up pretty quick on my own and make them fit where I needed to put them. Hey, save yourself a little bit of time and money if this is over your head, and go ahead and buy some from him or similar seats out there just like it. I think this seat right here from him might set you back around $300 or $400 without foam. If you wanted to add the foam package to it, it might be a little bit more. But anyway, got the seats done. Now it's time. We're gonna make these patterns, or this pattern, we're gonna make it into the actual part that's gonna go around this seat. And it'll go all the way around. This is just gonna be half of it. Let's get it made. So because cardboard is so much cheaper than steel, I'm going to take this pattern, I'm going to duplicate the other half of it. Then we're gonna go test fit it around the seat to make sure that it fits all the way around and it's good and snug. Because once we make it out of steel and we've got these anchors at both ends, we'll have to cut it right here. Well, I tell you what we're gonna do. Instead of doing that, let's make half of it, and then we'll make the other half of it just like it, and then we'll overlap them and make us a line, and we'll go ahead and weld that line. Because I've got a piece of steel that I can make these both out of, and it's not long enough to make the entire pattern. Yep, it's 31 inches long. This is 29 and a half. So let's make these 30 inches long, and then they'll overlap. We'll weld it together here, grind it down. You'll never see it, and it'll be a perfect fit. That's what we're gonna do. Let me get a piece of steel. All right, so I've got me a mark made. We needed about 7 inches. I went ahead and made it 7.5. The reason I did that so we can put a bend on the bottom of it. That'll also help us use the shrinker stretcher and curve it a little bit, and it'll hold its shape. And it'll also make that part stronger. Because the cardboard is not straight, and I know that this steel is, we're gonna go ahead and use the steel to make sure that we have good, nice square edges. All right, so from here, I made myself a note that we needed to add 1/4 of an inch to the top side of this. I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. And go ahead and scribe around the edges so that we know that we're doing the pattern in the right spot. All right, because I know I've got plenty of room and we're gonna need a little bit more, we're gonna do this right here. It's about 5/8 of an inch or 0.625. We're gonna go ahead and scribe that line on here. All right, we got that line done. We know that this edge is straight and this edge is straight because we squared that up in the stomp shear. So now this is the line that's actually going to be folded under. So now we can lay our pattern up against that line and transfer everything over so that we can cut out. All right, let's take this up and see what we did. There you go. Now you can see the faint lines, and that's why I use that layout fluid. If I'd used the felt tip marker, the Sharpie, which is, I use hundreds of those a year, it would have left a fatter line, and I would have had to try to follow that line, and I would have done this right here with the cutter. Got to. Now this bottom line is already cut, so this is the fold line right here. This is a cut line, and then this is a cut line. All right, so I had to transfer the mark from the front side to the back side. Double check, measure twice, bend once. Let's put a 90 in this. All right, we got our little bend in. Now we need to figure out where we need to start curving this, where that bend starts and where it finishes. So the best thing to do is take this cardboard back over there and use it. It does have this little bend right here that we've got to put in it. We can plainly see if we hold that there. There we go. There's where the bend starts. There's where it finishes. Let's go transfer this to the piece we made. And right here. It's very rigid now, unlike what it was a while ago when it was floppy. Just by putting that one bend in it. See how that wiggles? This doesn't. Good job. It's taking shape right before your eyes. What we're looking for. Let's go see what that looks like. All right, let me get you guys in here with me. Starting to look pretty good. What we need to do now is cut this out and go ahead and put our bends in for this area right here, and that'll tuck it up into the seat a little bit more. Got that side marked, and I've got that side marked. So now we need to notch this bottom plate. I got that marked. This is the point where I usually screw something up, right? All right, another test fit. All right, there's the first test fit after we clearanced all the holes one more time. Fits really good up against here. It'll actually go down just a hair because the seat will be here. This will all be covered. The seat foam will be at this edge and go down past here. So you'll never know where the foam quit and this piece went. Now I thought about doing these out of aluminum and polishing it, but I just believe they'll get scuffed up and they'll be standing out, and we don't want it to stand out. Hey guys, it's me. Hey, if things look different, it's because it is. While you were gone, this is what happened. First off, the battery died on the camera. Second thing that happened is I moved the seat backwards, and when I did so, the sliding mechanism underneath here hit this and knocked it out of the way, meaning that it wouldn't go all the way back to right there because the track mechanism hit right here. So what I ended up doing was building a drop down with a lip on it, and I massaged the track area a little bit. So now we need to concentrate on this area right here. So now we've got it moved and we're letting somebody in the back seat. Let's push it down. We're gonna need to go about right there with it. Off and see what that looks like. There we go. And we need to make that just like we did the bottom. So let's go get some metal bent. All right, so that's measuring 2 inches. We're gonna do a 1/2 inch on the back. So we're gonna make this piece right here 2.5 inches. We're gonna put a break in it. That way we can shrink this section right here. Now the piece that I'm using to make this isn't long enough to do the whole thing all at once. So we're gonna do it in 2 pieces, put them together, weld the seam, and this is gonna be all covered in the same leather that the seats are gonna be covered in. So we're gonna be good with that. All right, so you've seen me shear and break metal plenty of times. Here's what I ended up with. 2.5 inch piece, 1/2 inch break on the edge of it. Now we just need to shrink this down on the edges, on the corners, and give it that seat profile. We got 2 pieces, we'll put them together, weld them up. It'll become 1 piece, then we can trim the bottom. Then we may have enough left over here to do the back of the seat. I'm gonna have to go get another piece of steel. That's just all part of it. You gotta use your materials wisely. All right, so we're back over here to the template. I know this side fits really well. So we're gonna give a little bit of extra room now at the bottom, because I got plenty of room. A start and finish point on where we're gonna shrink this. Now you can always stretch it back out, adjust it as you need to, but you don't wanna do it too much, so. All right, so put the edges that we made around the seat foam, left enough room for the sew foam and the material, and now I clamped it together, laid it on the piece of sheet metal that I had left over, marked it, and now we're ready to cut out the back. I'm gonna leave this ruler on here and make sure we get it right back in the same spot, because this isn't exactly the same size as the seat frame, because it gets a little bit wider at the bottom because of some brackets. Those brackets follow, actually this seat frame that we just made here for the back follows the foam and not the metal seat. All right, let's get this cut out. All right, now that the back is in one piece instead of two pieces, we welded it right there. Let's get the other piece that we cut out put on. All right, there we go with the back on it. And I went ahead and put these little cleats on the inside, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do with those in just a second. I think it's pretty cool, and it's gonna help with the design. So here's why I put the cleats on. Just have to imagine that you're not gonna be able to get to the back of this thing. There we go. A little bit of work to do. I hadn't dressed those welds or anything like that, and I had one weld on this one that was hanging up, getting it in. The back is really flat, really nice. The seat will already be on when this goes on. So there we go. Now at this point, you can do body work, you can paint this. There's all kinds of stuff you can do to it. I was gonna put a raised panel bead roll back here in the back, but I decided that I wanna make it a little bit classier. I'm gonna put a pocket in the back here, and it's gonna be just like we did in the 32. It's gonna give it a lot of character. A little bit of trimming, a little bit more work to do, and I think it's going to be real thin Landau sandable foam, and then the leather will go on top of it. We're going to have on the edges, we're going to have the French seams. It's really, really going to be cool, guys. And then we're going to have a really cool pocket. And I may even cut an access in the back of here, right behind where the pocket is, so the pocket is actually deeper than it looks. I doubt that you'll ever put anything in there. Title, registration, form, packet, insurance cards, your driving gloves, whatever you want. It's up to you, right? All right, we still got some more work to do, but we're gonna get back into the upholstery here pretty soon. I've got to do the other seat on the other side, the driver's side seat, and then I need to make a cover for this back seat back here along the bottom that's gonna match some of this Art Deco stuff that we've done up here. All of that will get covered in this ivory leather. It's gonna have these cool seat belts, and then we're gonna put a splash of color in that mimics the engine, all right? And some of the other stuff that we've got going on with the bronze. So let me know, let me show you these up close a little bit. Tell me what you would do. One's a little sparkly and one's not so sparkly. And then you comment which one you like the best. I tell you what, if you comment on this video of the upholstery that you like, somebody that comments is going to get a t-shirt from Spanky'sHotRods.com. If you buy a t-shirt and you win, I'll send you money back. How about that? As always, thanks for watching. If you're through watching, get out in the garage and go build something. See you guys in the next episode. Spanky's gone.